that we do in gardening revolves around working with a shovel. And the old shovel, the one that my dad used and my grandfather used and the ones I always used, they really hadn't changed in well over 100 years until I met a gentleman, Julian Mathau, whose father created something called the Spearhead gardening shovel. I know this sounds ridiculous, but this is a shovel that was truly designed to dig in real world situations. If your entire backyard is nothing but peat moss and fluffy soil, you don't need this. But if you've got rocks, like all of us do, if you want to separate plants, which we need to do, if you've got roots and things to cut through, you will love the Spearhead gardening shovel. At $45.28, it's not only customer top rated, 99% of the people who bought it and wrote a review said they would recommend it to a loved one. I want to introduce you to part of the Spearhead team. Eileen, how are you?
Very well.
Welcome, welcome. I've got a regular shovel right here.
Yes.
And this shape hasn't changed in forever.
Yes. And you can see the difference between the two spades. When you use this, it kind of mashes the ground, where this kind of finds the path of least resistance.
Okay.
It's shaped like a spear. It's very sharp, so you'll see the demo later, but it's quite different than your regular shovel.
If I take a 100-pound woman and she wants to dig a hole with the old-fashioned shovel, she has 100 pounds of force. If I take the same 100-pound lady and she just switches to your shovel,
1,000 pounds of square inch of pressure.
It makes such a difference. I'll swap you and we'll do a demonstration. I want to show you something real quick. This is the gentleman who created, that's Julian's father, who is now 92 years of age.
Yes, a dear friend. He had 2 replaced hips, 2 replaced knees. He couldn't do it anymore and invented this tool, and it's a lifesaver. He's been doing things that he hasn't been doing before.
This is a tool of empowerment.
Yeah.
This allows people to do things in the garden that they can't do anymore. And people brag about it. We set up a little demonstration, which would be like tap roots. And you need to cut through those. And we use a regular traditional shovel.
So what you see, Dan, if I'm trying to get through roots, hostas, really dense things, it doesn't happen with this shovel. With the Spearhead spade, what happens, just a little pressure, it goes right through. And I didn't even put my foot on it. I'm just using arm strength. And you can see it just slices right through.
And by the way, the gentleman who created it, he's a metallurgist. He works with metals. There are 2 different patents on this shovel. One of them is a utility patent, which is almost impossible to get from the federal government. I don't know that there's been another shovel with a utility patent that's been documented in the last 25 years. So when we do these demonstrations, and you see some of the videotape, this is going to make your life a lot easier. If you live down south, anybody who grew up in Georgia understands Georgia red clay. And cutting into that is almost impossible. With this shovel, you put so much less effort into having to dig the hole. Here we are, separating hostas, cutting through sod, and it's cliche, I know, but it is like a knife through butter.
Absolutely. If you have those ornamental grasses, really tough soil, it goes right through. We have a demonstration here of rocky soil.
Rocky soil. This is actually a box of rocks with a little soil in it.
That's right.
But a regular shovel would be impeded by each one of these, but the shape of your shovel...
Right, so if you take a regular shovel, it's mashing. This is kind of finding the path of least resistance, going right through. And I'm not looking to put the shovel in any specific place. It's just separating it because of the shape.
Forces that to slide and glance off of the stone and to find an open area. So if you've got rocky soil, you'll be so thankful that you bought this shovel. And we're going to put some of those reviews up. One said, I'm a 65-year-old female and the shovel is very manageable for me, very happy I made the purchase. Most shovels are too big and too hard to handle. The whole idea here again is that this will get into that soil even if it's rocky. Every once in a while, by the way, you'll see sparks.
Yes.
And this coating is an amazingly durable coating, but the sharpness of this blade doesn't even really show through until you've used it for a while.
Yeah, the other thing too is most shovels are the handle stops here. They extended the handle, extra hard manganese steel.
Because Eileen, that's kind of the weak spot of a shovel, isn't it?
That's exactly where it breaks. And because it's extended now, it's triple reinforced, so it has the manganese extra hard steel, it has the pultruded fiberglass, and it has a triple reinforcement, which is a northern ash core wood.
The northern ash that they use for the wood is the same material that they make baseball bats out of.
That's right.
Now you've got, which color do you have?
Well, this is the pink, a great gift for Mother's Day coming in.
That's the newest color for the year.
Yes.
We've got 4 colors now. We've got green, we have that really pretty pink, we've got a violet, and then we also have a yellow. And 75,000 QVC customers have picked them up. And Julian is a dear friend, as he is to you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I made the comment, if I had just seen this in the hardware store, I have no idea how much simpler it is to dig a hole with his product. Have you ever had to cut through weed block? I remember having to get on my hands and knees with a razor knife, and you'd move soil away, and then you'd slit it with a razor knife and then do the rest of your planting. With this, it cuts through it all by itself.
Yeah, we have 2 layers, which is even harder. And with the Spearhead Spade, it goes right through.
No effort at all.
No problem at all.
So you just diminished your planting time dramatically just because you changed the tool.
That's right.
Dig with it once. If you've got someone who is getting a little older, Julian's father is 92, my father's 92, I can't slow him down. He's still out there wanting to garden. He still wants to be active. But having the right tool to help him makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I actually own one myself. I'm from Connecticut, and that's all we have is rocks. No problem getting around it, no problem using it. Or even for people that want to plant around trees where there's a lot of roots, this is a great tool to use around the base of a tree.
Cutting through sod, cutting through turf, easier than ever before. And I mean, this thing is like a brute force machine that does all the work for you. A regular shovel, again, a 100-pound lady is only going to have about 100 pounds of force. With this, just by the shape being different, she has 1,000 pounds of pressure exerted on the central point, and it allows you to get in to do delicate things like separating the fine plants.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And it only weighs about 3.5 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight. The handle's very comfortable, and it's extra wide, so you can use it with work gloves. And you can see it has really nice footrests, so if you need the extra strength, you can use the foot.
And I like the bigger footrest because it doesn't cut it. Again, I can do it with my eyes closed. Wherever you hit, it makes it glance off of the stones and goes into the soil. So even if you've got the rockiest soil, it's still going to cut right through. I think it's a brilliant invention. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Tell Julian and his father that we said hello. We wish them the best. The Spearhead, the gardening shovel and spade, it is the ultimate way of getting the holes dug and get your gardening finished as well. Coming up from Blue Clean, a 1450 PSI pressure washer with the adjustable spray nozzle. This particular unit, it's a little lower in PSI, which normally would mean it takes a little longer to clean, but what we did at Blue Clean is we increased the flow rate on it. So it does a great job of helping you out to get those projects clean outdoors. I want to introduce you to our next guest. This is Justin Sochoka. How are you, my friend?
Great seeing you. Doing well.
We're gonna